Seems like nowadays everybody wants to focus on conspiracy theories. Is there any truth to these conspiracy theories? We hear a lot about them. Let's talk. So, when a nation starts talking consistently about conspiracy theories, well, as they would say in the bar, it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Yeah, that's where we're at. Closing time. You see, when everything, regardless of whatever the merits are, you can poke holes at it and say, well, it doesn't really exist because I'm not willing to believe it exists. Well, then you have problems. The first problem you're going to have is you can't gain consensus. And if you can't gain consensus, well, as a nation, you can't govern. Because you kind of sort of need consensus in order to govern. Now, consensus doesn't mean that you need to have unanimous support for something. No, that's not what consensus means. What consensus means is that if you got 13 people and nobody can agree on anything, not even what the argument is, then you don't have consensus and you have chaos. When you have consensus, 6 people can agree on something, 6 people can disagree, and then the 13th person can hear both sides of the argument, take both sides of the argument, fuse the argument together, and create a working agreement. That's how you gain consensus. But when you're marred down in conspiracy land, where nothing is true, science is not true, numerical mathematics is not true, data is not true, evidence is not true, empirical knowledge is not true, well then you got problems. Then whatever everybody's reality is becomes the truth. And everybody has 1,000,001 things that is and makes up the fabric of their reality. So you have no truth. You have no consensus. And that, my friends, is where we are in Western society. No consensus can be made. We are hobbled together by a string of one conspiracy theory after the next. Now, that doesn't solve itself overnight. Kind of happened before. You only have to look no further than the age that they call the Dark Age. See, this is not a new phenomenon where people fall into disputes about things that clearly there's evidence to support the opposite of what most people or a lot of people have put in their heads as a conspiracy. Now they say, but a conspiracy theory, not all conspiracy theories are not true. Well, it depends on what your definition of truth is. Because you see, you can put something in a theory that sounds like it could be relevant or truthful, but only to objectify the aims of what your purpose was intentionally, or what the purpose of that group was intentionally, to distort. See, governance, by definition, is based on deception. So you have to be very careful about the people telling you this is the truth, and it's something that people don't want you to know. Because it's like, who are those individuals that are telling you? And if it's something that nobody wants you to know, why are they telling you about it? So you got to be careful about these people that are spreading conspiracy theories. Because they can run around and say anything, and they'll have you believing that it's the truth, and you won't know which way is up or down. You got to be a critical thinker nowadays. You have to be able to assess critically what sounds plausible, what doesn't sound plausible. Then do your own research. And then here's something that I think is often forgotten. Communicate. Not just with yourself in a silo, but with others. Hear other people's perspectives. Perspectives that you might not have garnered or thought about. And then after you've done all those things, take time to ponder. Ponder and wonder. Wonder if you should come to a conclusion or whether you should remain in doubt. Because sometimes coming to a conclusion isn't always the right answer. Sometimes remaining in doubt when all the evidence is not presented is the correct answer. Be careful. The West is slipping into one conspiracy theory after the next, and you can't govern or gain consensus if you do that. And while we're hobbled by conspiracy theories, everybody else is flying ahead of us. Just look at Southeast Asia or Africa. You see, the West is hobbled in conspiracy theories. Theories of extravagant and extraordinary things. Secrets and awestruck knowledge. But regardless of whether those things are true or false, does it really help the governance protocol? Not really. No, you need consensus. And if you can't find consensus, well, you're not governing. You're hobbling. You're hobbling along. Now, you could say, is this by design? Well, is it by design to throw out so many things that are distractionary and irrelevant that governance becomes obsolete, and what stands in its place is something more insidious? Perhaps, but ultimately, that shows a great decay and a decline. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. The West can't find consensus anymore, and it's in decline.